Hey everybody, it's Andy Teague and Brian Bretsch again here from Birdbrain 66. Again, Brian is either on my left or my right and out there in cyberspace. Today we're going to take a look at the 2001 Kansas City Life slash St. Louis Police card set that was a stadium giveaway back in the day. It went through several iterations of this from the Smokey, start out with the Smokey the Bear set all the way up through the end of this Kansas City Life run. I think it was 2000, it was 2007 was the last, I think the last one that they ever did. We're looking at the 2001 set, Brian, and it's really cool. It's got a nice color photo on it, inset, and then it's got a nice background photo with each of the ones, and some good colors on these things. And I started out with the one I looked at. It was Don Tony right there,
Don Tony, I like that reference.
the original gangster right there, because one of our greatest managers that we've had in Cardinal history. And if you look at the back, it's got a nice little bio on Tony, and it's got his number, and there you see the fabulous Kansas City Life company on there. So cool, really cool set. Brian, what's some of your impressions of this set?
Well, one of the things that I will start with, and I'll show a couple of my favorite cards here in just a second. So back in 2001, when I was still in newspapers being a reporter, I had actually transitioned out of sports reporting and was a police beat reporter in Southern Illinois. And believe it or not, the vast majority of this collection I put together by going to some of the different stations that I covered, and the local law enforcement folks would, drive around town. They see, somebody doing the right thing, wearing a bicycle helmet, or they'd go and speak and do a safety talk or whatever. They would hand out these cards. And so I painstakingly put together this entire set by going to different police departments, doing police blotter reports. And I successfully collected three of these sets, not only for myself, but for both of my daughters. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of things to like out of this 27 cards overall. First of all, kudos, because Fred Bird's represented in there. Sorry, everybody, about the glare and
Yeah,
what
and
it
then one of my favorites right there, you got Jack Buck in there.
That's absolutely correct.
So speaking, voiced the Cardinals for decades, and we just lost Mike Shannon. So it's a shame that Mike Shannon wasn't even included in this set, because they threw everybody and their brother in this particular set. Oh, except for one particular guy in 2001, which is really odd. Who is that guy?
His initials are AP. That's all I know. I can't think of his name right now because I'm just being funny. Yeah, Pujols was
But
hard to understand.
the great thing is you got Bobby Bonilla,
Yep.
because Albert came up and replaced Bobby Bonilla when he got hurt. If people don't remember that, but Bobby Bonilla is included in this set. Nice card of Bobby.
Wearing Whitey Herzog's number, by the way.
Yes,
Love
yes.
number 24. So the story goes, the front office was a little bit nervous about this, star coming up through the minors, and they would have loved to suppress him like they do for so many of their prospects. But Bobby gets hurt, and they need somebody to fill in. And lo and behold, they are smart and intelligent, and they bring up Albert Pujols. He struggles. What was it, for the first 18 to 20 at bats, and then all of a sudden it just clicked for him, and then the rest is Hall of Fame history.
Then he
But
went to hit over 700 home runs. So pretty impressive. Another guy I want to bring up out of this particular set, and because they just had the Cardinal Hall of Fame voting, and he didn't make it again, which really irritates me, because I think a lot of people overlook this guy. But it's Matt Morris. He actually won 22 games, led the National League in wins that year, and finished third in the Cy Young voting. And it's just incredible. He had so many great seasons and was always so overlooked.
yeah, he was a stud. I mean, he really and truly was, the ace of the staff for many, many years. Even in the 90s, when it was kind of the forgotten franchise, when there was the change in ownership. But yeah, I 100% agree
And Matt
that
said he said don't jaywalk, look both ways before you cross the street. So I mentioned that they had these fabulous little tips on the back of these cards. So that,
Safety tips.
yeah, safety first.
So here again, I'm sorry I didn't take mine out of my fun plastic sheets, but here's the other one that always hurts. Daryl Kyle, his
Yep.
tragic death, had the heart ailment and passed away too soon, left behind a wife and two young children. So that's one of my, favorites in this set.
Yep.
Another one before you jump into it, and no hand gestures here, but Mr. Middle Finger, Steve Klein, when he got into a fun debate on coming out of the bullpen on whether or not he should or should not be called, and you know, said
Yeah, there's
he did give the middle finger. And remember, he was Mr. Dirty Cap. He had all that pine tar and stuff on the bill of his cap, and I think for his entire, I think finally he replaced his cap only to have one that was equally, laced with tar and everything else. But his grubby cap was actually a Cardinal giveaway at some point. Loved him, Steve
yeah,
Klein.
you spoke of a very famous moment in the bullpen when La Russa was in the dugout. So there he is.
Yep.
He can't believe what's going on, after the game. But that's a very famous interview after that particular game. Another favorite of mine that's in here and a longtime Cardinal, Mr. Ray Langford. So
Boom boom. Yeah.
yeah, because what Ray said, stay in school, smart is cool. So there, I mean, you can't get any better than these tips that they're giving you on here.
No. Here's another one of my favorite ones too. I love these of the backup catchers. Well, here's another middle reliever, Mike James. All right, had a cup of coffee with him, but Carlos Hernandez here, one of like a gazillion backup catchers the Cardinals have had. Because if you take a look, and Andy and I have done this in the past, if you go to this channel and look at our show from about a year and a half ago, where we talked about all the catchers and how blessed the Cardinals have been over the years with, Simmons and Matheny and of course
Nazi,
Nazi and Yachty.
Pena, and Porter. I mean, you just go on and on and on until Molina came around, and he's stuck around for a few years.
Yeah, but the great part is all the backup catchers. I mean, we did that. We did an entire show, so I'm sorry that I'm pimping our own show and giving us props, but you got to go take a look at that. We really did talk about everybody from about 1960. We started with Tim McCarver and went to the
Yep,
present.
that's true. And one of my all-time favorites right here, Ball Game.
But this card cracks me up. Out of all the great photos in this set, action shots or whatever, we get
He's just standing there.
he looks dejected, like the game is over and he didn't get a chance to go up with the winning run, to drive them in. I don't know what the situation is, but that's what it looks like. Oh darn, I didn't get a chance to come up with the bases loaded and do something. But love that card of
And he was second to Pujols in home runs that year with 30, and Pujols had 37 that year, which is pretty incredible back then. I'm going to mention.
Here's one of my favorites. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
No, one of my favorite guys of all time, Mr. Polanco. I always thought that in terms of a guy who was Mr. Clutch and did so many things for the organization, I think is often overlooked in Cardinal lore in terms of what he did. I know he was eventually traded to the Phillies and had a great career, and actually had a great career overall. But I always thought that Placido was overlooked in his skill set, and always loved him in a Cardinal uniform.
The Bennis brothers. So I said there's quite a few sets out there, but we got the Bennis brothers in this set. So it's nice to see that.
And good action shots of both of them.
Yep. So love the fact that they both appear in there. Another one of my favorites during that period of time, and then back later on, was Rick Ankiel.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Pitcher loses his way, and then I don't know a better story in all of baseball than him coming all the way back to be a professional hitter, and
Yep.
has has a pretty darn great career and probably had, outside of maybe Roberto Clemente and one or two like Dave Parker, probably had one of the all-time best outfield arms in
Yeah.
terms of I mean, I used to love Dave Parker because they called him Cannon Arm, but I think that if he was Cannon Arm, then Rick Ankiel was Bazooka Arm. I mean, you didn't run on him because anything that he tracked down, he was going to throw you a missile.
Yeah. So overall, a really cool set. 27 cards in the set, and I mean, you can go on and on because there's quite a few people in this set. And we'll look at another one of these down the road.
Well, I got to show one of my all-time favorite
Oh,
Cardinals, Larry Sutton. He's one of yours too. I know you got his uniform. I have no idea who the guy is other than he was
right.
in this set. And you said, what was it, 23, 24 games played? We don't even know if those were all with the Cardinals. So,
Right. Because I didn't go back and look it up, but that's the unfortunate part about these cards. They don't tell you if they were on the Cardinals the year before. Yeah. So, but like Tops and other companies do.
so I'm looking here. One time I'm gonna mess this up and testing my brain power as I'm frantically looking through this. So have we gone to, oh, there he is. I just wanted to give Mike Matheny
Oh, yep. There
a
you
quick
go.
shout out, only because loved him as a catcher, great catcher. We're still bitter about him cutting his hand with a knife and we believe messing up Rick Ankiel's career, but that's a whole story for another
Yes.
day. But
That's for a
loved,
2000 set.
yeah, loved him as an absolute Cardinal catcher. Unfortunately, not so much as a manager. So with that, hey everybody, appreciate you following us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be
At
back
Bird
again.
Brains
Have a great
Everywhere. There
day.
you go, right? At Bird
Yep.
Brains Everywhere. And that's how you will find us. Peace out, and we will see you next time.